Kevin Durant has basically taken over the NBA offseason with his trade request from the Brooklyn Nets. Now, a few years ago, exactly 3 years ago, a few days ago on the date, Kevin Durant signed with the Brooklyn Nets and brought in Kyrie Irving, and eventually they would bring in James Harden, hoping to form a bit of a super team that was not going to be stoppable. They were going to be dominant. They were going to have three guys that are really solidified all-stars in this league, and three guys that they thought could come together and basically win championships for the next few years and create a dynasty. Obviously now, though, we know James Harden is gone. He is not the former self we knew him as in Philadelphia. Obviously, he has struggled, but let's see how that goes for him this year. Kyrie Irving, he has his own off-the-court issues. I made a video about him. If you'd like to check that out, it should be in this corner right here. But if you guys want to see that and are interested in my thoughts on that Kyrie Irving situation, I am always open to discussion in the comments, or just go check out my video. You'll see what I think about that entire situation. But now Kyrie is most likely on the move from Brooklyn, most likely to LA. It looks like originally Kyrie did re-sign the extension, so it looked like maybe he might make his way back to Brooklyn, hoping to team up with KD one more year at least and try to go for that championship. But Kevin Durant comes out and says he wants to leave Brooklyn. He doesn't want to play with Kyrie anymore. And do you really blame him, in my opinion? A guy that's supposed to be your teammate, supposed to be your backup, your wingman, your second star, and he's not even playing half the time. And when he is, you really don't know what you're going to get from Kyrie Irving. So, I mean, at the end of the day, makes sense for Kevin Durant. But Kevin Durant officially requested a trade, and there have been so many teams. I mean, basically probably every team in the NBA has called the Brooklyn Nets at least. I mean, you'd be dumb if you weren't calling and checking out if you had the options or the pieces to obtain a guy like Kevin Durant. But obviously most teams really don't need him. We have those rebuilding teams that if they had Kevin Durant, I don't think they're going to be a championship team. So that leaves out a lot of the NBA right there. And I really think that brings us down to a lot less of a category of teams. You know, we've seen the Jazz pop up in names. We've seen the Knicks, which is very unlikely just considering the Brooklyn's not going to trade a guy that, or their best player, one of the top 5 players in the NBA, to their crosstown rival. We've seen the Wizards are a team that have popped up, and they did re-sign Bradley Beal, something that a lot of people thought would foreshadow that they might be attempting to trade for Kevin Durant, but I don't know if they quite have the pieces for it. I'd imagine it's going to have to do some solid young players, a few role players, and then a ton of picks. I mean, it's a Kevin Durant, for goodness sake. He's going to have a lot of picks in that trade if you're trading him away. Like, the Nets are going to be set no matter where they trade him to. Then, obviously, the most popular ones, I have seen the Thunder floating around, which would be interesting as a bit of a revival or a return to OKC, but I don't know if they really have the pieces. I mean, maybe they give up Chet Holmgren. That would be interesting, but I don't think I see that happening. Maybe Josh Giddey's thrown in there for Kevin Durant. That's an interesting idea to think of, but I don't think that Kevin Durant's going to want to go to OKC again, and that really brings me down to the last few teams that I think have a legit shot at trading for Kevin Durant. Now, first up, I want to get the Lakers out of the way because they have a chance at it, but I don't think Kevin Durant and LeBron would want to play together. I don't think KD would want to take a back seat, and I don't see LeBron taking a back seat to KD. So that's why I really don't think the trade would go through for them, but I can see Kyrie going to LA, and I think that's actually the most likely place where he goes. So that's where I want to leave off the Lakers situation. And now we get into really my favorite areas and one that I'm really worried about. So first off, we've got the Trailblazers. I like the Trailblazers fit for Kevin Durant. Damian Lillard, a guy that I would be more than happy to see win an NBA championship. Though realistically, one of the few players that I'd like to see win outside of my Milwaukee Bucks, but just because he's been so loyal to Portland, even when they haven't given him a quality team, he still comes out and he tries his best out there. He gives it his all, and he has been a perennial all-star, all-NBA point guard, and he just continues to stay loyal, and you can't blame him for that. I mean, he loves that city. That city loves Dame. And, I mean, I'd imagine if they're going to throw a package in there, it's going to be something centered around Shaedon Sharpe and Anthony Simons, and a bunch of picks. Probably like an Anthony Simons, Shaedon Sharpe, Nazir Little. You've got to throw in maybe 4 or 5 first-round picks, maybe some seconds. It's going to be a lot to get Kevin Durant, but it's Kevin Durant at the end of the day. So they have that. They would have Jeremy Grant, Damian Lillard, Yusuf Nurkic, and then they just fill out the roster. And I think that team would have an opportunity to win a championship. So if Kevin Durant did have to get traded, I would love to see him go to Portland. Next up, though, and probably my least favorite one out of these two teams, is the Miami Heat. Now, the Miami Heat, they do have the pieces. You've got Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, Max Strus, Omar Yurtseven, a bunch of young pieces that you could trade. And Bam Adebayo is another guy that has been rumored to be in the trade talks for Kevin Durant. I would imagine if we're talking like that, it's going to be Bam, Tyler Hero, and a bunch of picks for Kevin Durant. But that might seem like a lot if you're the Heat. But at the end of the day, it's Kevin Durant, former MVP, multi-time NBA scoring leader. So he is an amazing player. You can't pass up on a talent like this. And in my opinion, if KD does get traded, this might be the biggest and best player to ever be traded in the NBA. Now, I'm not talking like a sign-in trade. I'm talking like a full-on trade. This would be insane because he has 4 years left on his deal. Really, he has no leverage whatsoever. So the Nets can do whatever they want with KD. I mean, he could sit out if he wanted, but he's in the last few years of his prime. So it's going to be interesting how the Nets go about this. That's the Heat package. Pray he doesn't get there or get traded there because we would have to play them in the playoffs, and I do not want to play Jimmy Butler, Kevin Durant, and Kyle Lowry in the playoffs. That just seems like a very unfun matchup to have. Lastly, and my biggest worry, and something that has come out today and probably will be in the thumbnail, the Golden State Warriors are openly, the players on the team are openly lobbying for the Warriors to trade for Kevin Durant. Now, you've got to think this would involve Jordan Poole, Andrew Wiggins most likely, probably James Wiseman or Moses Moody, if not both of those guys. I mean, picks. Probably those 4 guys and like 2 first-round picks could get it done. That's 4 guys that have potential. 2 of them at least have potential to be all-stars, in my opinion. Andrew Wiggins and Jordan Poole could both be all-stars. We've seen Andrew Wiggins this year become an all-star, and Jordan Poole really showed out in the playoffs. So that's why I think those 2 pieces alone could be a very, very important factor in this trade. And then you get James Wiseman, a mysterious young center who has a ton of potential for this trade to go through. And I think that would just be an amazing deal for the Warriors because you get Kevin Durant back. You did give up a lot in return, but you reinstate this team that you had a few years ago that won 2 championships. You know they can win. I mean, Klay, even though he's not the same anymore, you've got to think bringing KD in will help him get back to that level. And that's what really scares me about this trade. Now, obviously, I would prefer KD goes to Portland. I do not want another super team in the NBA, but I have just this aching feeling that Kevin Durant is going to go back to Golden State because they have what it takes. They have a perfect package. And if I'm the Nets, KD has no leverage. You're not worried about winning in any of the recent years or soon in the next few years after giving up Kevin Durant just because obviously you're trading away your 3 core big players, or you traded one away already. Now you're going to be trading both of them away this offseason, so you're not worried about winning. You're likely going to be going into a rebuild, and that's where basically the Nets have no problem giving KD to the Warriors because they know they're going to be rebuilding. They want picks. They want high draft picks. They want good, young, promising players, and the Warriors have a beautiful package for that. And if I'm the Nets general manager, I'm calling the Warriors up right now, and I'm going and looking at that deal and seeing just what the Warriors can offer because, man, that is a very enticing deal if you're the Nets general manager. What do you guys think about this situation? I never expected to go into this offseason to hear that Kevin Durant is most likely going to be getting traded or some way, shape, or form off of the Nets this year. It's just so shocking so shocking to hear that. I said so shocking to hear that. And man, it feels like a few years ago, which it was, that they were building this team up like they were going to be the next dynasty, and now Kevin Durant is most likely on the move. How do you guys feel about this? What is the best situation? And if you'd like to comment down below your trade ideas, what players would you give up in return for Kevin Durant? I would be more than happy to review some of those if you guys drop those down in the comments down below. As always, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Post notifications on to stay up to date on all the NBA news. I try to post at least once or twice a day, depending on how big the news is. If there's a big trade, then you guarantee I'm posting it immediately or as soon as possible. So thank you guys for turning post notifications on so you're always ready for a video. And I'll see you guys next time. Maybe Kevin Durant's traded by then. We'll have to wait and see. Peace.